In today's video, you're going to learn why in 2020, adapting to the poker climate is more important than ever. Hey guys, it's Poker Mindset Performance Coach Adam Campbell here. In today's video, it's all about adapting to the changing poker climate. Now, I was got a message from a poker player a few days ago worrying about the poker climate and what he should do about his future. And he asked the question, when do I change formats and when do I keep doing what I'm doing? So this got me thinking about the current climate that we're in, the changes the sites are making, the changes that are happening in the poker world, and what you need to be doing in order to adapt to that. So a lot of formats are changing. So Spin and Goes on PokerStars recently announced some big changes to their structuring, which has really impacted lower stakes guys. You've got MTTs moving towards PKO structures. You've got short deck games getting introduced. So there's a lot of changes going on in the poker climate. It is difficult to know when you should stick in your lane and when you should start making changes. Now, the thing about changing formats you're playing is it's difficult because you've invested a lot of time and energy into the format that you're currently playing. So you have something called the sunk cost fallacy, where because you invest that time, you don't want to change into something else. Also, poker, especially online poker, very much rewards specialists over generalists. By that, I mean someone who picks a certain format, whether it's sit and goes, MTTs, and becomes very, very good at that. That's generally a better strategy than kind of spread yourself across multiple formats. So with that in mind, it becomes difficult to assess when you should stay in your lane and when you should change. So myself, I started out playing heads up sit and goes, and I started playing reg speed games, and I kind of turbo structure, which was 75 big blinds. After about 8 months into my poker career, I realized that game was very much dying. It didn't have much of a future, and everyone who was making good money at that game had already transitioned over to the hyper turbos, which were 25 big blinds. And I was a bit slow at admitting that the game I was playing was not going to have a future, but as time went on, I realized, okay, I need to change, I need to adapt. And I started learning these hyper turbos, it sounds similar, it's both heads up, but the structure was very different, and it was a very different skill set to learn for me individually. So I've experienced having to change formats myself. I only done it once in my career, and to be honest, I could have done it a few times. So another time I could have changed formats was when I was playing $300 heads up sit and goes, and the spin and go formats just got introduced on PokerStars, and they started at $60 games, and there was big talk that these were going to be the future of the sit and go world, that hypers were going to die, and that spin and goes were the future. And to be honest, I was a little bit stubborn, and I didn't even look at the opportunity to play spins. I was like, nah, forget it, I'm playing heads up sit and goes, and it was an okay decision in the end because I'd been high stakes heads up sit and goes, but I should have been more open-minded to the possibility that spin and goes would have been a better fit for me. So I just want to talk you through kind of a framework for making a good decision on this one. For the guy who asked me this question directly, this would be great for you to know what to do next. So first of all, you've got to ask yourself, how long do I want my skill set to be valuable for? Do you want it to be 1 or 2 years, or do you want it to be 5 to 10 years? Let's use those two examples to highlight this. So if you're only building out the next 1 or 2 years and being very profitable, you can choose something like spin and goes, heads up sit and goes, so that you don't really know where the future is going with it. The sites can change the rake structure, change the profitability of the format very quickly, but you're okay with that. You're going to specialize down. I did that with my career. I specialized down in a subset of poker games, which was very volatile to a degree. The sites could make changes that would make them unprofitable. And the skill set itself wasn't that useful to transfer over to other formats. On the flip side, if you're thinking, I'm in it for poker for the long term, I want to invest a lot of time and energy into getting really, really good at the format, and I want a format that's guaranteed to be around, then you've got to start looking at different formats. And I'd say MTTs are the most safe online formats, definitely going to be around the next 5+ years. MTTs and cash games live are going to be around probably forever, at least like most of our lifetimes. So because people are always going to want to play those games live, and yeah, you've got to start thinking about how long you want to stay. So I'd say those you'd be looking at cash games and MTTs if you're thinking long-term trajectories. But if you're thinking short-term, you can start thinking about it differently. So let's say you're going for the more short-term lens, or you're like going for like the 2 years and then you figure it out. You've got to still ask yourself a series of questions. So I'd go through 4 questions to arrive at the answer. Should I be playing this format I'm playing, or should I change? So the first question is, am I able to make a good living off this format right now? Not in the future, but right now. Is my skill set, can I cash it in and make a good living? Enough to cover the bills, enough to cover my living costs? If the question answers yes to that one, move on to the second question, which is this. Is it possible to have a really good financial gain from this format? Is the upside really high? And also, is this format likely to be around long enough for me to see the upside? Let's say something like spinning goals or heads up sitting goals. They've got big upsides, but you've got to ask the question, are they going to be around for you to see it? The third question is, if the answer is yes to that, yes, I am profitable in this game and beating the game already. Yes, it's got a big upside if I get good at it, and it's going to be around long enough. The third question is, am I capable of getting to the higher levels in this game? Am I capable of doing what it takes? Am I willing to put the time and energy in to get very good at this format in the time needed? And then the fourth question is, are there any opportunities that I may be missing? By being more directional in this format, is there potentially another format that I could have learned equally without the time I'm going to allocate to this one that could be time better spent? And for me in my career, that opportunity point was around 2015 when the spin and go format came out, and I decided, because I was quite stubborn, to keep heads up sitting goals. I may have missed an opportunity with spin and goals by not learning that. So you got to ask yourself, it pivots at times to go, is this the right format for me at this time? So I would say ask yourself those 4 questions at least every 6 months, probably every 3 months, to be honest. Like, go through that checklist. Am I making money? Has it got a big upside? Is it likely to be around long enough? Am I capable of getting to the high stakes? And is this the best use of my time and energy? And if the answer is yes to that, go full in for that period of time and see how far it goes. And yeah, I think you've got to be adapting more than ever these days in the poker climate. You can't just be head down, I'm playing this format no matter what, any changes, I don't care. You've really got to be able to adapt and pivot and make the most of all the opportunities that are coming up in poker. So thanks for watching this, guys. If you enjoyed this, good chance you will like my training video on how to become unstoppable in poker and in life. There's a link to that in the description. You can just click it, put your email in, and I'll send that straight to you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and there's going to be plenty more coming from me very soon.